Alrighty, not sure how well this microphone's gonna work yet in this helmet, but figured I'd try it out. Just got some new tires on the FZ6R. Fucking feels like a new bike. Things turning is like crazy now. It just wants to turn. It's pretty nice. Definitely feels a lot better. I think I was getting some flat spots on the tires before. And I'm forgetting to shift like a retard because I'm talking. But yeah, so I got some new tires. Actually, when I dropped the bike off, they had a Triumph Daytona 675 and their used one. And I was chatting with the guy there, salesman, and ended up taking it for a test ride. And the thing is freaking crazy. Like, I think I've decided what I'm gonna get for my next bike. That Triumph was just awesome. Wow, this thing balances so much better now with these tires. It's crazy how much better it seems. But yeah, after riding that Triumph, I think I'm decided on what I'm gonna get. Actually, I was really tempted to chat about getting it in the near future, but I just got new tires on my girl, and don't really want to get rid of her right now. I don't really have the money to do so. So I think I'm gonna bide my time on the whole new bike idea. Maybe in the spring, depending on how my finances work out. Because I just paid off, I had a personal loan on this one, and I just got that paid off. So I'm really not looking into getting any more debt right now. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna hold on to my FZ for a little bit longer. Wow, it's crazy how much more stable this thing seems at low speed. I guess flat spots on the tires really do screw up your low speed handling and balancing. My tires did seem kind of flat in the center right before I got these ones. These just seem so much better now. But yeah, so that's basically that. I'm gonna have to take this corner like such a bitch with these new tires. They're literally brand new. Literally just got the bike back from the shop. So I have less than probably a mile on the tires. I know they can be slippery from what I've heard. And even they warned me there, hey, take it easy for like 30 miles or so. So I'm kind of curious as to how the wind noise is going to be with this new mic setup. I actually recorded a video about a month ago on the bike, but the wind noise was just way too excessive, so I ended up not even bothering to upload it. So I guess we'll find out how fucked this is. In light of that, I'm not going to really talk too much on the highway because I don't want to bother creating a ton of content just to have to cut it out because it's unusable. So I'm just going to stop here, stop talking here, and it'd be nice if this fuck got out of my way. There we go. But stop talking and just enjoy my cruise home until I get on the off-ramp. Alrighty, on the off-ramp. So, on the off-ramp, off the off-ramp. So now I'll continue blabbering on, hopefully with this mic working like a charm. So, yeah, anyway, back to the Daytona. That bike is awesome. The Triumph Daytona. Ah, shit. First I'll talk about, like, what my concerns were first getting on it. When I first sat on the thing, I was kind of thinking, like, what the hell am I doing? Like, because the thing is so aggressive compared to the FZ I have here. I mean, you're basically laying on the tank. I know it's one of the more aggressive 600s. And it's one of the things I wasn't really sure if I'd want in a bike, is something that aggressive. You know, I was kind of worried that, you know, if I get a bike like that, because I really can't afford to maintain 2 bikes, honestly, unless I get like a really cheap second bike. But I was worried that if I got something aggressive like a super sport, that I wouldn't be able to, you know, get comfortable with it. It wouldn't really be good for just riding around and going to work and whatnot. And at first, that's kind of how I felt. I got on the Daytona, the Triumph Daytona, and I was like, oh man, this is really aggressive. I don't know if I can, you know, if I'd be able to tolerate something like this for a everyday rider. Once I got going though, like within a couple of miles, honestly, it started to feel normal to me, and it almost felt better in all honesty. Like, I'm sure long distance would get uncomfortable. I mean, I only rode the thing for like 15 minutes or so, but in that 15 minutes I felt completely fine. By the end of it, it felt completely normal, and I was actually like, I was kind of like dreading going back to the upright position that I have on my FZ here. And I mean, I still like it. I still like my FZ's riding position and everything. But honestly, the super sport position wasn't really as bad as, you know, a lot of people say. But part of that might be the fact that, you know, I understand not to put my weight on my wrist. So like, I'm already in the habit with this bike when I'm accelerating hard and I'm leaning forward to grip with my grip the tank with my thighs, so I'm not putting weight on my wrist when I'm riding, which a lot of people don't seem to do. So they complain about their wrist hurting on a super sport because they're putting all their weight on their wrist, which you really shouldn't be doing anyway. So there's that, and there's also the fact that I do work out quite a bit, and I have pretty good core strength, especially. So like, holding myself up with my lower back really wasn't an issue for me. My lower back is pretty strong. So like, granted, like I was saying before, I really shouldn't get too, like, you know, comfortable saying this, but I only rode the bike for 15 minutes. But honestly, it felt completely fine to me. Like, I didn't even feel slightly fatigued at the end of the ride. I actually just wanted to keep riding, but obviously I couldn't because I was just test riding it. And I was on my lunch break anyway, so I couldn't really, you know, spend the whole day test riding a bike. Not that I think the dealership would be too keen on that regardless. But yeah, so there's that. Then there's the other, like the bike, the whole riding position thing. Like, the bike just feels like it's a part of you once you start to get used to it, which is crazy for me to say because I only rode the bike for such a short amount of time. But after I was used to the riding position, after a few miles, like, it was crazy. The bike was like almost telepathic. It would just do what I wanted it to do. Although that could have been partially the tires too, because now that this bike has new tires, she kind of does the same thing. So I mean, it's hard to say, but definitely the bike's design and the seating position were a big part of it. Like, the bike just felt like so natural to me. And then there's the power difference. Now that I could get used to, having that extra power. The freaking thing, like, I won't go into the speeds I got up to with the thing, but it pulled like a freight train. Like, I could feel the front wheel lightening up in third gear, which is insane to me. Whereas in my bike, my current FZ, the thing like won't even really pull a wheelie easily in first unless I try to make it pull one, or I just launch too aggressively. But through like first, as long as I'm like leaning forward, and then all through first I can open the throttle fully on the FZ, no problem. Second and third, it's a joke. I can just go full throttle easily as well. That bike, it's probably just because I'm not used to it, but honestly I was hesitant to go full throttle in second at all. I didn't even try going full throttle in second. And third, I was very, very careful and very leery of going full throttle at first when I felt the front tire lightening up. So yeah, that thing is crazy amounts of power. Like, I can see why people say you don't need more than a 600, and technically that bike is more than a 600. It's a 675, but you know, it's a 600 class of sport bike. Because it's a three-cylinder 675, so it's classified in with the 600s. But yeah, the power difference was just astronomical. I mean, the thing I think has almost double the horsepower of my FZ right now, and it weighs less, so it makes sense. But I can see why people would say you don't need more than that, which honestly, I completely agree. Technically, I don't need more than this. This bike is more than quick enough for the street. I just want something faster. And something more agile. But I mean, Yeah, that's the main things I noticed were obviously the handling, the riding position, and the power. Just night and day difference from this bike. And it's funny too, now that I'm riding this one again, I almost felt more comfortable on the Triumph, the Daytona, with the sport riding position. It almost felt more natural to me. Kind of want to go back to it now. But they kind of wanted a little bit more than I was willing to pay for that bike, because the bike had not extremely high mileage, but more than I'd be comfortable paying that much for. It had like almost 14,000 miles. And for the price they were charging, I could buy an almost new one. Not brand new year-wise, but you know, like in the same model year, but 0 miles or very low miles for not much more. And when I went to pick up my bike, I was actually going to talk to the sales guy, but he wasn't there, to see if I could haggle the price down. But it's honestly for the better anyway, because like I was saying when I first started this video, I don't want to get in any debt for a bike again, like I did with this. I just got this one paid off. So, and it's north, I live in the Northeast, so it's going to be snowing here pretty shortly. And I'm going to hardly be able to ride the bike at all in the winter anyway. So it'd be kind of dumb to, first off, just buy new tires on this bike to immediately get rid of it. And second, to buy a new bike that I can't afford just to not ride it for a few months. So there's going to be more of them. I'm sure I'll find another Daytona for a good deal, a better deal than that one was. And I can do it over the winter, or after the winter, after I save up some cash, so I can hopefully, you know, sell this bike or trade it in. Sorry girl. But sell her or trade her in, and then not have any debt on the Triumph, which would be ideal for me, honestly. Because you know, having debt on a bike kind of sucks. Having debt on anything sucks. But on a bike where it's essentially a toy, I really don't want to have debt on it. So yeah, I'll probably just end up saving up over the winter and, you know, biding my time, scope out a good deal. No point in buying a nice new bike, new to me bike, just to sit in the garage for a few months. I'll let someone else keep it in storage for me. But yeah, that's basically it. I know I haven't made any videos in a while. I got pretty lazy again. And after the last failed video I had on my bike, where there was just too much wind, I kind of just got discouraged. And I mean, this might end up being the same as the last time, where there's just too much wind. I don't know, because I have a different mic I'm trying, and I put it in a different position under the helmet to try to alleviate the wind noise. And I bought all the stuff to make a dead cat, it's called. I know that sounds stupid, but people who know microphones and stuff probably know what it is. I didn't even know what it was until I started reading about it. It's basically like a bunch of fur you wrap around the microphone, and it will cut out wind noise almost entirely. So I bought some fake fur to put on my other mic, but then like I was kind of too lazy to do it, and then now it'd be like, the fake fur I got was pretty long, and it would probably be like getting in my mouth and shit while I'm riding, which I'm not really into that. Don't want the furry shit in my mouth. So I had another mic that I just had lying around that had a like a foam cover over it that should help block out some wind noise, because the one I was using was just literally like an open mic, which I should have known would be a terrible idea on a bike. But and I also had it mounted pretty low in the helmet, where, like, you know, turbulence from underneath the helmet would be probably affecting it. Whereas now I have the mic up really high, like right around the bottom of the windscreen. So, oh yeah, this bike handles like a fucking dream right now. Woo! So yeah, combined with the fact that it's a different mic with some wind protection on it, and it's mounted higher in the helmet where it should be a little bit safer from wind noise, I'm hopeful that this video will not turn out like shit and actually upload it. And if it doesn't turn out good, then obviously you're never going to know about it, because I'm not going to upload it. See how that works? So that's pretty much it. Just wanted to, you know, talk about the fact that I got some new shit, got some fucking nuts in my throat. Fucking peanuts is chewing on. Ugh. fucking let you guys know about my FZ. Got some new shoes on her, and the fact that I rode that Daytona, and I think that's gonna be my new bike. Maybe not that exact one. That'll probably be sold by the time I have enough money. But yeah, I think I've decided super sports for me. The riding position is not a big deal for me at all. I mean, I've ridden super sports before. My buddy, one of my best friends who actually got me into riding, has a Kawasaki ZZR 600, a 2008, and he actually taught me to ride on that. I mean, I was literally just going around the parking lot in first gear. And then later on, after I got my bike and I was riding it for a couple months, he let me take it for a spin on the highway. So I mean, I was already kind of, you know, already kind of knew what super sports were about, but I'd only ridden it that one time, and his is a little bit less aggressive than the Triumph. So I wasn't really sure what to expect going into it. But yeah, now that I've had a little bit more experience with super sports, I can confidently say that I'd be extremely happy going to one. But that was basically it, YouTube. So you know, hope you all have a good one, and adios amigos.